Okay, great. All right, good morning, everyone, and happy Thursday. I'm Jenny McCullum, the Chief Procurement Officer for JEA and the Chair of the Awards Committee. I'd like to call the December 3rd, 2020 awards meeting to order. We have a quorum with Stephen Datz, Joe Arfano, Jordan Pope sitting in for Alan McElroy, Steve Tootin, and Wayne Young. We are represented by OGC, by Julie Davis, and budget is represented by Lori Whitmer. Before we get started, I'll ask if there is any public comment. We do not have any public attendance in the room, so I will ask Lynn or Cecil if we have any public comments that have been emailed in prior to the meeting start time.
We do not.
Okay, great. No emails. And is there anyone on the call that would like to comment and during the public comment portion of this meeting? This is your time to do so. Do you see anyone, Lynn, raising their hand or?
I do not.
Okay, and is there anyone on the call that is not on the WebEx, just phoning in, that has public comment for this agenda?
Doesn't look like we have anybody that's just on the phone.
Okay, great. All right, on today's regular agenda, we have items 1, which is our meeting minutes from the last meeting on November 19th. And then we also have award 4 through 11. We also have an informational item that we'll talk about at the end of this meeting. And just as a note, items 2 and 3 have been deferred for this week. All of the items have been reviewed by procurement and budget and are ready for the awards committee review. We will review each one of these individually. I'll ask for a motion to approve the award with a second from the committee members, and then we will roll call through the committee for each award's approval. I'm going to start with the meeting minutes. And do you guys have any questions from the meeting minutes from November 19th?
This is Steve Tootin. I make a motion to approve the November 19th, 2020 meeting minutes.
Wayne Young, second.
Thank you. We'll roll call through the committee, starting with Steve Tootin,
Approved.
Wayne Young,
Approved.
Joe Arfano,
Approved.
Stephen Datz,
Approved.
and Jordan Pope.
Approved.
Thank you. All right, award number 4. This is a contract increase. This is for our fire-resistant clothing solicitation. The recommended awardee is Open LLC, doing business as American FR and Safety. The award amount is $33,500. And this is to get us through the end of our initial term, our 3-year term, which will expire in September of 2022. This was initially informally bid and awarded in October 2019, just under that $300,000 threshold for the formal level. So since we are having to cross that $300,000 threshold, we're bringing it to the awards committee for approval. And then we've got just some background information as a table as to how we came up with the award total and what areas we plan to spend money on for this type of clothing. JEA intends to rebid the services and coming up in April for a new contract, but we do have renewal options. So if we choose to stick with this company as we research the market and our pricing, we do have the option to do that and can come back to the committee to renew. If you guys have any questions or comments, the pricing is fixed through the contract term, so the pricing has stayed the same for the 3 years. Can I get a motion to approve award number 4?
Joe Arfano, so moved.
Stephen Datz, second.
Pick him up.
All right. I've got Stephen Datz as the second. I'll roll call through the committee to approve award number 4, starting with Joe Arfano,
Approved.
Stephen Datz,
Approved.
Steve Tootin,
Approved.
Wayne Young,
Approved.
and Jordan Pope.
Approved.
Thank you. Award number 5 is a contract amendment. This is for JEA inventory stock of our network protectors. The network protectors are special self-contained air breakers or switching units that have full complement of current and potential and control transformers, as well as relay functionality. The primary purpose of the network protectors is to enable the paralleling of 2 or more primary feeders on the same low voltage bus. Cooper Power Systems LLC is our recommended awardee in the amount of $481,033. This is a contract amendment to tack on to a contract we already have with Cooper Power Systems for our current network protectors. This is a new submersible one that our standards group has added. This is for in the event that there is flooding, for instance, for downtown. These would replace the network protectors to help from a flooding perspective. The original term of this contract is 5 years, so we're just in the beginning of this contract. And so this, you can read per the P code or per the operational procedures. We pulled out for you guys this section that talks about what a contract amendment can be. And so for this one, it's interesting. We've standardized on this, so it's a standard. We are really sole sourcing to Cooper Power for this network protector, which is what we did the first time from a reliability, and we've got some background information as to why we've standardized. And now we're increasing the contract amount. And so all of this is allowed as a contract amendment, but we're spelling out kind of all 3 of those things in this award from a transparency standpoint to show, yes, we have standardized on this with Cooper Power. There are other manufacturers that can produce these network protectors. Cooper Power is, from our perspective, the one that is most reliable. And there's some other statements I'll let the business chime in. Just in case I haven't missed anything, Kenny can chime in. But then also, this is from an administrative standpoint, it takes away the burden of creating a whole separate contract for the same product that we already have a contract for. So we're adding it to this award. So this is something different you guys probably haven't seen before, but trying to spell all 3 of those things out in this award. Kenny, did I miss anything?
No, I think you captured, the intent of the award.
Do you guys have any questions?
Jenny, this is Stephen. I believe it's the 3rd paragraph on page 14, number 2. JEA is the only supplier with these specific customizations. Should that be customer?
Yeah, it should be Cooper Power is the only supplier. Well,
okay.
no. So, I guess it should be, yes, JEA is the only customer with these specific customizations of, yes. I see what you're saying. Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
We'll make that change. Thanks, Stephen. Anything else from the committee members?
Jenny, this is Jordan. So I understand is this both, you're doing this because of what's allowed in the P code to, this is administrative and that you're avoiding separate procurement actions, plus Cooper Power is the only provider of this specific product, I'll call it, that meets JEA standards?
Kenny,
I think that's what. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Jordan, to answer your question, so there are a couple suppliers that make network protectors, and our standards committee has determined that they would like to standardize on Cooper Power network protectors. So that would sort of be the first action that transpired. So once we've got down to just that there's one there, you then determine how you want to move forward on procuring just the one Cooper Power network protectors. The next layer that when you peel back this onion is how are we buying it? And in lieu of going out to every possible distributor that may sell Cooper Power systems, we determined that we were going to sole source and work directly with the OEM, Cooper Power Systems in this case, to procure those goods. And it spells out sort of in this document, in that third paragraph there, why we made that decision to sole source directly with the OEM and work with them directly, as opposed to going through a middleman distributor of these products. And then the third action is the actual contract amendment, and that's what we're voting on here, in that we're going to take these other two procurement actions, which is the standard, the sole source, and we're going to add it to an existing agreement that already exists for network protectors.
Got it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, Jenny,
Yes.
if I could add, through the chair, this is Julie Davis, Office of General Counsel. So I think Kenny did a really good job of explaining how what the committee is being asked to authorize here, and what the procurement folks are recommending. With one caveat, I think the committee is actually authorizing each of these three separate procurement actions. They're combined into one using the operational procedures here, but the committee is authorizing each step along the way. So just to clarify, thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Any questions? Just pausing for a moment. It's probably already hard to hear me anyways with this mask on. All right, so I'll ask for a motion to approve award number 5.
Wayne Young, motion to approve.
Jordan Pope, second.
We'll give it to Jordan. I love you. You're the battle for the second. Thank you. All right, so we had a motion to approve from Wayne Young and a second from Jordan Pope. I'll ask the committee to approve award number 5, starting with Wayne Young.
Approve.
Jordan Pope.
Approve.
Steve Tootin.
Approved.
Stephen Datz.
Approved.
And Joe Arpon.
Approved.
All right, award number 6. This is an invitation to negotiate, and this is for our workforce engagement management software solution and implementation. This will perform just call recording, quality management, workforce management, performance management, and reporting. And JEA specifies that all the modules shall be combined into a single software suite. Along with the purchase, the proposed vendor here shall provide professional services to implement the solution into JEA's Cisco Unified Contact Center Enterprise platform, while reducing maintenance and end-user training costs. The solution shall also include system testing, administrative end-user training on site at JEA, and 5 years of annual maintenance and support following the implementation and JEA's acceptance. So you'll see this is the purchase of the system, the implementation, but this will go through for a 5-year contract to for the maintenance and support. So the majority of this will be spent up front in the beginning of the 5-year term, and then we'll have a continual just an annual charge. I think it's about $150,000 annually for the maintenance and support that you'll see in years 2, 3, 4, and 5. We had quite a bit of competition. We had 8 different responses that came in, but there was 4 different providers. They just gave different platforms initially that we could look at. So some were on-prem and then some were in the cloud. We ended up having to disqualify one of them. The company's name was Nice. And so their on-prem and cloud solution was disqualified, and we shortlisted the other three, which was, it was Relay Systems, ATSG, and Presidio. They were offering different solutions. So Relay Systems is offering a variant software solution. Presidio offered two different, it looks like the Calabrio and Nice was not the company. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. So Presidio was disqualified from one of these sections. So it looks like they, apologize for missing that one. This one's a little interesting with the different responses that we've gotten. But all in all, we shortlisted the three. We scored them on the past performance, price, ability to meet the business requirements, and the supplier design approach and work plan. Before we moved into the BAFO round, we let them know that we were not going to consider the cloud-based responses. And so the only thing that they evaluated was the on-prem solutions for the three that made it to the BAFO round. As I explained before, you can see the breakout of the one-time implementation cost of $172,500, and then the training of $55,000, and then the 5-year annual licenses, which is 20 power users and 150 business users, and then the support and maintenance, which is fixed at about $150,000 a year. Just a note, our current workforce engagement management solution is a variant solution, and it's no longer supported. So the award is going to Relay Systems, and the solution that we've picked is still a variant product. And I will pause there to see if Nathan or the business wants to add anything that I might have missed or misspoke to as I was reading through this awardee and respondent box.
Morning, everyone. This is Nathan Woyak. Jenny, just a correction. The name of the company is Replay Systems, not Relay Systems. So that's noted.
You.
Yeah, no problem. I guess you covered most of it. I think just one other thing to mention is, the cost savings part of it at the bottom on the last page of the award. We did go back into negotiations with Replay Systems after the BAFO was submitted. They originally submitted their BAFO at the same cost as their original response, but they were still the highest ranked. So we went back to them to see if we could get them, further negotiate with them because they were still well over JEA's budget, and they did come down to quite a bit to JEA's budget level of it ended up being $974,000 and change. So they did come down on that. Part of the reason they did that is because they have the value for JEA and their side that we're currently using their product now. So there's not as much change cost, so to speak. So that was part of the reason they were willing to do that for us. So we were able to get them to move quite a bit at the end.
Thank you, Nathan.
Rob, do you want to add anything else?
Yeah, so this is Robert Grocock representing the business. Now, I think you represented this very well, but I'm more than happy to answer any questions that the committee might have on this submittal.
Robert, Joe Arfano, I just wanted to understand the scoring relative to the BAFO numbers, because there is a significant $200,000 to $250,000 variance between the runner-up, the number 2 and 3 and number 1. So could you explain just briefly how that scoring, obviously cost was only one component, and if this is a better product, we're already using it, I think that hopefully needs to be relayed to the committee.
Yes, so this is currently the product that we're using. And both internally, when we reviewed that, we did a demonstration from all of the finalists on this. It was scored, I believe, Nathan, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was unanimous from all of the scorers that this was a superior product. And then also, if you look at like Gartner Magic Quadrant, Verint is one of 2 leaders in this field for software. And so clearly the industry feels that this is a leading software as well and provides some additional functionality that the other software providers that do not provide at this point. And it is an all-integrated suite where it is one product that works across all of the requests that we have. So some of the features they have are quite a bit more advanced, they have multiple ways to do forecasting, for instance, which is critical for us to make sure that we have the right workforce in place without losing money by having overstaffed or understaffed. So there are quite a bit of things here that we think will help us to reduce our costs by going with this provider versus some of the others.
Thanks, Robert. I only ask, I'm the finance guy in the room, and when you see ITN, I know, Julie, there's a concern. So I have to be that guy. Sorry, Jen.
It's fine
Yeah,
to be
this
that
is
guy.
Nathan Wyatt again.
That's why finance is on the committee. But ITN is not a evil word, right?
I know.
It still adds quite a bit of value to the process.
It did. I kid.
So are there any other questions? Nathan, did you want to add anything? I heard you kind of chime in.
Yeah, this is Nathan Wyatt again. I'll just add that we did attach the scoring matrix, and you'll see on that scoring matrix that every quality category of Verint replay systems was significantly higher than the other companies. All the different evaluation factors, including the presentation that Robert mentioned, they were significantly higher in that scoring as well. So they were the clear quality leader in this. So you'll see that in the numbers.
Some dissent.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, great.
This is Jenny. This is Stephen. I just have a question in regard to the funding. It's showing us capital and O&M. On page 33, it states that the support and maintenance were included in the annual software license cost. So is year 2 all and beyond all the O&M and just the first year capital? Because there's a zero cost.
Lori.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Laura, go ahead.
Yep. This is Lori Whitmer. We always require, when we're looking at budgeting of items, to give the breakout between capital and O&M, and the first year is all capital and all other years are O&M.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. That should have been a Joe question. Come on, Joe.
Lori's here I know Lori's here for that.
All right. Do you guys have any other questions?
Jenny, this is Julie Davis again. Just in response to Joe's comment, because he mentioned my name, and with respect to the ITN, the ITN is a valid procurement tool for JEA to use under the appropriate circumstances. And so what I think the procurement team has been consulting with us now on, particular procurements and whether those, situations, those facts are correct for an ITN. And generally speaking, an ITN is used when JEA is not really sure what it wants to purchase, so that it can't clearly spell out the requirements in the solicitation document, so that you're comparing apples and apples. In this situation, I think there were some question about, did they want on-premise, did they want cloud? There were a lot of variables in some of those different options can be worked out better in an ITN situation and developed, and they can work with a vendor to design exactly, what type of product best meets JEA's needs. So that type of situation in ITN is appropriate. So I just wanted to add that since that was
Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Julie. I'll just add to, outside of that, there are other advantages and reasons why we would use the ITN to be able to negotiate for the best value and the best interest of JEA. And so you guys will see from a consultant report that's coming out that they still, like OGC, think it's appropriate for us to be using it to be able to get the best value for JEA as a whole. So it won't be going away, but you'll see less coming through than what we have typically done in the past. So I will ask for a motion to approve award number 6.
Joe Arfano, so moved.
Wayne Young, second.
Great. I'll roll call through the committee, starting with Joe Arfano,
Approved.
Wayne Young,
Approved.
Steve Tootin,
Approved.
Stephen Datz,
Approved.
and Jordan Pope.
Approved.
All right, award number 7 is a contract amendment. This is for environmental sampling and analysis for JEA. The purpose of this specification is to obtain testing services for a qualified contractor to perform environmental sampling and analysis for JEA that operate water treatment facilities, waste ponds, chemical waste treatment systems, groundwater monitoring wells, and power generation equipment within our territory or within the Duval area. The work is not limited to that area, so we've got obviously other places we can use it if we need to. Our original awardee for this contract, when we put this in place back in 2017 for a 3-year term, was Pace Analytical Services, LLC. And the original award amount was $300,000. We anticipate for every year spending about $100,000 on this. We still had some funds left back in October when this expired, and we renewed it internally through procurement without adding any funds as we were still using it, and now they need to come back to the committee. Really, this request is to fund the renewal that didn't have funds put on it originally when we renewed it back in October when this one was about to expire. So the award amount is $100,000. It's in line with our past historical spend, and it also aligns with our budget. So we award this more towards the budget, and if there's, we spend it as we need it per the workbook and the rates associated on the workbook. Do you have any questions? All right, I'll ask for a motion to approve award number 7.
Steve, motion to approve.
All right, we had Steve. Can I get a second?
Stephen Datz, second.
Thank you. I'll roll call through the committee to approve award number 7, starting with Steve Tootin.
Approved.
Stephen Datz,
Approved.
Wayne Young,
Approved.
Joe Arfano,
Approved.
and Jordan Pope.
Approved.
Thank you. Award number 8 is a contract extension. Was there a comment? All right. So we've got a contract extension for award number 8. This is for our leased modular buildings to house our technical training at Northside Generating Station. This award and recommended awardee and who we've been working with for the past 3 years on this is Vesta Housing Solutions, LLC, doing business as Vesta Modular. The award amount for this contract extension is $92,250, and we are requesting an extension through the committee for about 15 months. You can see some of the background information. We originally piggybacked off of this through a Houston-Galveston Area Council Government Cooperative Agreement. That agreement is still active and in place. The rates are still the same. You can see we've had an increase slightly, from the time we started, about $3,600 per month to $6,100 per month. And that was due once we had the modular units in place. We realized that we needed some storage containers and ramps for the building so people can get up into the building without having to use the steps. And just due to several delays of the JUTC design build RFP, it's just now hitting the street. And so we need to procure the contractor for that work and give us some time to build it. So we're requesting 15 months. We think that should be enough time to get through that. It's on the street now, so it'll give them over a year to build. And I will pause there and see if you guys have any questions. This started as an informal agreement. You can see the amount.
Stephen Dat's motion to approve.
Thanks, Stephen.
Wayne Young, second.
Thank you. We'll roll call through the committee, starting with Stephen Datz,
Approved.
Wayne Young,
Approved.
Joe Arfano,
Approved.
Steve Tootin,
Approved.
and Jordan Pope.
Approved.
All right. Oh, we have also deferred award number 9 this morning, which I failed to mention this morning when I first started. So you'll see this one come back next week. So we're going to move on to award number 10. And this was an invitation to negotiate. This is for our stop loss policy for JEA. And the stop loss, really, the coverage protects JEA from catastrophic claims in excess of our deductible. And we've got someone from Gallagher on the line, I believe, or we've got the business unit on the line that can answer any questions at the end, but I will take a stab at explaining kind of the next 2 awards from an insurance perspective. This contract is for 1 year, and the recommended awardee is Blue Cross Blue Shield of Florida, and the amount is $1,488,974. We had 2 different submittals on this, and I just want to take a moment to pause because originally we included in our group medical, which is going to be the next award that you see, we had included in the group medical the pharmacy stop loss policy, and it was in conjunction with that. And our original term for the medical, the main medical coverage, was a 1 year with 4 one-year optional renewals. So we awarded it, and then we also awarded the 2 consecutive renewal options, which included the stop loss coverage. And when we took a look at the market, and after talking to Blue Cross, when we were looking at renewing again with them, we thought it was the best decision to hit the market just to look at our competitive options for this part, because it can be a standalone. So we went to the market. Blue Cross did end up being, the most competitive, and we looked at rates, we looked at their design approach, timely claims processing, financial responsibility, and company experience overall when we were scoring. And Blue Cross had provided several options for the stop loss deductible limits, and just due to just the high volume of catastrophic claims in 2020 and the ongoing potential of high dollar claims for 2021, the best financial outcome based on the forecast analysis performed is to accept Blue Cross Blue Shield's option for a $250,000 specific deductible policy for our plan year in 2021. So the monthly premiums that are associated with this bid are about $24.11 for the single and $87.15 for the family coverage. I'll just note the premiums are slightly higher than last year. So we had $21.99 for single and $78.84 for family. And again, that was due to the high catastrophic claims in excess of the $250,000 in FY20. But I'll just note, without going to the market for this, you know, the rates or the premiums that Blue Cross had originally proposed were very similar to what we ended up getting going out to the market. But here we were able to, Gallagher was able to negotiate with them on what we call lasers. They were, you know, originally said we had 6 main lasers and people in the organization with those high catastrophic claims, but Gallagher was able to negotiate those down to 2. And so you can see we saved, it would have been 1.75 million higher. And that really the overall increase affects the, you know, the employer and the employee contributions for JEA's group medical plan. So, you know, in the end, we were able to negotiate and save some money for the employees from that perspective here. I'll just also note that the 1.488 million for the award amount, those are strictly premiums. There's no administrative fees associated with this award. So these are the premiums that the employees and the employer pays. How'd I do? Business?
You did great.
Okay. Is there anything you want to add? All right. If y'all don't have anything to add, I'll ask for a motion to approve award number 10.
Jenny, this is Stephen Dass. Motion to approve. Just note that David Emanuel's title of Interim Chief Human Resource Officer is missing on Award 10 and 11.
Okay, great. Thank you.
C2 second.
Okay, great. I had a second from Steve Tootin. And we'll roll call through the committee to approve award number 10, starting with Stephen Dass.
Approved.
Steve Tootin.
Approved.
Wayne Young.
Approved.
Joe Arfano.
Approved.
And Jordan Pope.
Approved.
And we will get that title added to these before we send them to the CEO for approval. All right, award number 11. This is our renewal for our group medical. As we were just talking about, both of these, just as a note, are self-funded. So they're self-funded through the employees. And this one is our main medical, so it provides administrative services only with network access and pharmacy benefits management services to administer various medical plans for the employees and retirees of JEA. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Florida is our recommended awardee. And the award amount we're estimating from the claims perspective and the administrative fees are $33,223,355.50. Originally, like I explained in the last award, this one was bid out back in 2017 to Blue Cross Blue Shield, and we had a 1-year award with 4 one-year renewal options. And we set it up this way because each year we have to look at the spend from the current year that we're in and how much we spent from a claims perspective. And so we are now, I believe this is our 3rd renewal option, so we'll have 1 more renewal option left. And I'll just quickly make some notes about the fee per the employees, and then the breakdown of the fees, and then I'll pass it to the business to add whatever they would like. But for 2020, the fee was about $44.22 for the employee per month, which included a 5-year increase over the 2019 rate. The decision back then was made to renew at this higher rate as JEA received increased pharmacy rebates and discounts, which should ultimately lower the cost for the employees. So this request is to execute the 3rd renewal for this, and the price of the administrative fee will increase and is contractually agreed upon, and the amount of that is $45.36 per employee. So if you break down that 33 million, the only money that actually goes to Blue Cross for administrative fees, their annual fee for running the program, is just over 1.2 million. The remaining amount, that about 32 million, is a pass-through to medical and pharmacy providers to cover claims throughout the year. So this is, an estimate that we've gotten of what we think the claims will be. But whatever is not spent, whatever claims are less than the projected amount, those funds will carry over to 2021. The full award amount of the 33 million represents a shared cost to JEA employees and retirees. So I will pause there and ask the business if there's anything you want to add.
Oh, Jan, it's fine. This is Carl. Pretty well, again, as you were just pointing out, this is just a portion, the administrative fee, which is part of the overall, when we start looking at a self-funded plan, you have your two portions, which are more or less paid for as by the person. That's one administrative fee, which we're talking about here, and one prior with the stop loss. And after that, it's like you're mentioning, it's a pass-through.
Thanks, Carl. You guys have any questions?
Joe, just a comment on the original award back in 2017. It's very interesting that Aetna was the only other entity submitting a bid. I didn't realize the competition was that weak, really. I mean, well, obviously they're providing a great service to JEA, but it is unusual based on my experience to have only two parties submitting final proposals. So I thought that was one of the more interesting parts of this whole package.
Jenny, this is Ann Edenfield. If you'd like me to comment, I'm happy to. I'm your
Yes, please.
Gallagher. Okay, thank you. And thank you for that comment. We certainly respect that. When we go out to a large RFP for something of this size, the biggest, one of the biggest components is the strength of the network. And the strength of the network in the Jacksonville area, Aetna likes to certainly provide a competitive bid. Cigna is large enough, but their discounts in the area have historically not been as strong. And to the point, the Florida Blue network is the strongest in the form of what discounts they can provide to the health plan. And in a self-funded health plan, the discounts that the providers give is a huge contributor to keeping the cost down. So although it certainly looks like the market competitiveness is not so great if you only have two players, these are huge players, and they are the two, Florida Blue and Aetna, that probably have the strongest provider networks here in Duval County.
Appreciate that.
Thanks. And Ann works for our for Gallagher. They help us put these solicitations on the street. They're very, very complicated, as you can see. It's taken me a few hours to even just be able to articulate and understand the two awards that we put out. But I think I've got it down now after a few years of seeing these. But Ann is a huge, huge help to us for this. She's very knowledgeable. And Ann, do you want to just comment on when we're going to start the solicitation, for our next competitive bid? Just comment on the timeline for the committee.
Absolutely. We go out to bid on your behalf a solid 9 months prior. And like I said, it is a very extensive process. We send it out, or we actually work with your procurement department, and it goes out through your normal channels. But Gallagher puts together those bids so that we do get the most competitive. So 9 months prior to the end of the plan, the contract terms, we will go out so that we have this solidified no later than the end of July, August 1st for the next year. And just one point of clarification on the annual administration fee that's paid to Florida Blue. That is the administration of the plan. That is the PPO network access, because you have to pay to access those network discounts. It is the teledoc administration fee. So that fee bundles up quite a few administrative components, but it is the network access fee, the administration fee, the teledoc fee, case management, care management, all of that's rolled up into it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
so
welcome.
do we plan to execute this next renewal option, or are we going to hit the market before that?
That is a decision that probably, Carl and Pat and I, but more than likely, we will go out and let the contract term for the full 5 years stay in effect, but then we will go out.
Okay, just have to start very early, so that's why we do it so far ahead of time.
Yes, I would
right.
anticipate that it will stay, yes.
Okay, great. All right, thanks, Ann, and thank you, Carl.
You're welcome.
Do you guys have any questions? All right, so I'll ask
Jordan
for a
Pope, motion to approve.
Thanks, Jordan. Can I get a second?
Joe Orfano, second.
Thank you, Joe. I'll roll call through the committee to approve award number 11, starting with Jordan Pope.
Approve.
Joe Arfano,
Approved.
Wayne Young,
Approved.
Steve Tootin,
Approved.
and Stephen Dax.
Approved.
All right. Stephen, do you have any other edits that you usually give me in person that you need me to? He's our proofreader.
No, we're good.
All right, good. We worked hard to try to make sure there were very little edits that you're going to find this time. So thank you to the team for helping with that. We have approved the actual agenda, which is the meeting minutes, award item number 1, and then 4 through 11 individually. Before we adjourn, I just want to give Gary an opportunity to walk us through this pull attachment inventory audit award. This is just an informational award. It doesn't need to come to the committee for approval. It's under the $300,000 range, but just something we wanted to share with you all as a win. So I'm going to pass it to Gary Vondrasek to take us through and explain what we've got here.
Okay, thank you, Jenny, and good morning, everyone. As Jenny said, this is just an informational document. In 2018, JEA conducted or went out for RFP to select a vendor to inventory the pole attachments on our poles. JEA has pole attachment agreements where we allow various telecommunication companies to attach their facilities in the communication zone of a pole, distribution poles along the right-of-way. And contractually, every 5 years, we do this inventory. We began this in mid-2000s, and it's shown to be very productive, even though we have a process to approve attachment to poles. Service drops do not get permitted. In addition, maybe things don't get reported, who knows, but we do find attachments that maybe JEA hasn't been billing for. So our contract allows us to back bill for this, and 5 years ago when we did this, we found revenue, and this time we did also. We completed this past June, and we found $911,000 in back bill for the various companies that use our poles. And then on a recurring going forward, it's $250,000 a year. So the next inventory we will conduct is in 2025, and this went very well. Like I said, it's a good thing to do. A lot of utilities do this in support of their pole attachment business, and it's been very successful for us. So.
Thanks, Gary. Do you guys have questions for Gary?
Yes, I do have a quick question. Great report, Gary, and congratulations on the team and everybody for doing that. Wayne Young. with respect to, and this is a general question, but falls in the purview of what we're talking about. When we do changes with our poles, say if there's road construction and we're working in a joint project and we move them, do we get the cooperation from the those who utilize the poles for other services as well? And do we cover those charges or do they?
So I'll repeat the question. I think I heard it correctly, but I think your question was about pole changeouts and who incurs expense from that.
Right.
That's correct? I think you just said. So in those cases, for our routine pole changeouts, which we average 200 pole changeouts a month, the users of our poles incur the expense to move their assets from the old pole to the new pole. JEA, these 200 poles that we replace on a monthly basis, on average, is due to age of the pole or this or that. But if a pole gets hit or this or that, the users incur the expense. The use is on the use of our poles is that the burden of those entities, not JEA's expense.
Okay. All right, thank you.
That's a large number. 200
Gary,
a
this is
month.
Lori Whitmer.
Go ahead, Lori.
I'm just curious, who wrote that contract? That sounds like y'all have a lot of good clauses in there. Somebody deserves some credit. Was that you?
We took a American Public Power document, and then we put some JEA additional language to that. But it's the utility industry has very standard agreements, I think, and you would see a lot of those amongst utilities. Some utilities do operate with some very old agreements at this point, and I guess it depends. But ours is a very modern document, I guess, and we've made changes to it also since kind of the implementation in the mid-2000s. That's when we went to this newer agreement in the mid-2000s. But we've made some amendments and even made it even better for, I think, both parties. So.
Okay.
Gary, Joe Orfano, is that a 5-year term on the Alpine contract?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again, Joe? 5-year?
Is that a 5-year term on the Alpine contract? It's not specified here as to how long that Alpine contract is.
No, so this was just a one-time agreement.
One time, okay, I got it.
Yes. But we do outsource our pole attachment processing, any pole attachment requests that come in. We actually use Alpine as our pole attachment permit contractor, and that's under a different agreement. And it's an agreement that we don't incur any expense from. The requester assumes the expense of the pole attachment permit application. So it's we're getting something done without any expense. So
well, this is extraordinary. Just using the $246,000 over the next 3 years and adding the $912,000 roughly, that's a return of 556% on your $297,000 contract. So that's extraordinary.
Good
investment. We should approve more of these.
It's well worth the time and effort.
That's why we wanted you to hear it. We thought that they did a great job.
That's extraordinary, Gary.
Yeah, great work. And I see Lori smiling when she hears numbers like that. She smiles.
I could do that math.
Mm-hmm.
There's
right,
nothing soft about this revenue.
All right, so we have approved the entire agenda, and I'll ask before we adjourn if there's any other business to come before the awards committee. All right, I will just comment that we only have 2 more meetings for 2020, which will be December 10th and December 17th. The next committee meeting won't be until January 7th of 2021. we're all crossing our fingers that 2021 is going to be a better year for everybody. So we got two more. So we're going to bring it home. And then we'll see you guys again at the beginning of January. And I'll just make a quick plug. Make sure that you guys, if you have not bought your tickets for the United Way baskets, we've got quite a few VPs in here that need to be supported and represented. And I will just say that the spa basket for Alan's group is amazing. So go check it out. You want to make a plug? It's your chance.
Jacksonville barbecue extravaganza. Sample all the good barbecue places in Jacksonville.
And chocolate goes well with both spa visits and barbecue.
Ooh, maybe you should buy the spa one and the chocolate one together.
And then take that out to the zoo on the outing. Get that zoo basket.
Mr. Emmanuel, do you want to plug yours for HR? Do you know what it is yet? Does anybody know what HR is yet? He might have dropped off.
I saw it, maybe left the call.
He dropped off. All right, well, I gave him a chance. All right, well, the meeting is adjourned. Everybody have a safe and happy rest of your Thursday and weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.